work all night and I drink a rum. Daylight come and I won't go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and I won't go home. Stinker. Nah, because here's the thing. I've put a lot of effort into content I've made before the Gentle Gamer. Like, I understand that you're not telling me to, like, make content I don't want to make, but to pour more effort into the content I like to make. I've done that before. I spent hours editing videos, only for it to get 3 or 4 views. I ain't doing all that. I want something to I want a video to exist more than I want the video to, like, be up to a certain standard. I just want to make a video that like, if I have an idea for what I want a video to be, I want that video to just exist. I don't want, like, if I have to put some level of effort into it, fine, but I'll only put as much effort into it so I can get the baseline vision of that video made. Do I think if I'm making content that do I think... Blech. Let me say this properly. Bro, don't you think that if I made content that audiences like more than making content that I like, I would get more views? Probably. But here's the thing. I put out anywhere between 4 to 8 videos per day. Per day. Almost all of those are all videos that I wanted to make on content that I want to make videos about, or things that require very little effort on my part to do, so the fact that I don't want to make them is negligible. So what would happen if I kept that same schedule, for just FYI, would be I would burn myself out in this thing that I do, this content creation that is a hobby that I deeply enjoy. I would end up hating. And I found that finding people, taking the time to get people to just do what I want to do, make things I want to make, and then people like who like it and watch it, like you, Gentle Gamer, and content that I don't want to make, I avoid. I end up being able to crank out a lot more content because I wanted to make that content compared to basically, other folks. I'm a content generating machine, but I am a content generating machine because I enjoy making these pieces of content. If I stopped doing that, and if I started, just doing all of that nonsense, it would end up badly. I really wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be successful, and the content I think would be less enjoyable to watch as a result. A villain that everybody hates, Stick Bros? Is it the Life Thread Alchemist from Full Metal Alchemist? Because I'm pretty sure that's the answer, the correct objective answer. Oh, they made a little baby slime. I had no idea that was actually a mechanic. That's adorable. I mean, they still won't kill me, but, small little guy, he's small. I was in the bed! Why? God damn it. That is what every white American deals with. America's system of conform or be ostracized kind of like makes Americans want to like discover their roots, and when we do, like we even though if we're like 10%, we make it our whole fucking personality. Like, for example, I am only like 11% Latvian, but I'm like 40% Irish. Right? And I consider myself closer to being Latvian than I do consider myself being Irish. Why is that? It's because my mother grew up with her grandmother, who was proudly Latvian, even though she lived here in the States. And the very few traditions that were passed on to my mother, she tried to pass on to us. And there was basically nothing that was present in regards to there's basically nothing that was present in regards to what's it called to my Irish heritage. And it's not, I'm not sad or like wanting for that or anything, but it's like that's just the reality of it. You are here's the thing. Like if blood was the indicator for you know, whether or not you are something or another, then like, you know, like the thing is that you can't tie nationality to, you know, genetics, right? It really does come down to culture. You know, in cultural influence, like the music, the feelings, the food, the traditions, those are the things that matter, frankly, more than really anything else. You know, like, yeah, you might be like, you know, you yourself might be, you know, like you could have somebody who's like 100%, you know, who grew up, who like is 100% French or some shit, but they spent their entire fucking life in the UK, and so they think of themselves as English. You know, that like the English, their English, you know, like being English was reinforced by their parents' behavior, the schools they went to, and things of that nature. It really does not matter what somebody's bloodline is. It is like what matters is how do they you know, what is like what has influenced them in life, and what culturally has led them to, you know, leaning one way or the other. It's kind of the brass tacks of it. I don't have to fish for tuna! Let's fucking go! Thank you, RNGesus. You gonna make me go to church again. In the United States, yes, you like the desired norm is 8-hour work days, 40-hour weeks, 2 days off, so on and so forth. The problem is that there are a lot of legal protections involved with being a full-time worker. After once probationary periods are over and you're a full-time worker, you are expected to get health benefits, especially if the business you work for is above a certain size. You have certain levels of protections. I mean, you more so than like that. And really, the thing is that benefits are expensive, and businesses don't want to pay their employees benefits. So what they will do is they will effectively try to hire a bunch of people and have them all work as little hours as possible. In the hopes they're able to weed out people that they can trust enough, and when by trust I mean are fine working dog shit hours and don't bitch at them when work interferes with their personal time. And then over time that consolidates, and then you end up having people working 36, 37, 38, 39 hours, but never 40. Because God forbid they work 40 hours, they are now considered a full-time employee. Or, egad, they get overtime and had to get paid time and a half. In America, businesses do everything they can instead of, you know, lowering their payout to owners and, you know, cutting costs in that way. They decide to cut costs on both product quality and on employee and employee retention, which includes employee compensation. America is not a fantastic place to be, you know, someone who is not rich. Oh my god! Just get on the fuck! Just get caught! You dirty... Because why is Russia so depressing? Because it's an oligarchy. Most places outside of Moscow and maybe St. Petersburg don't have indoor plumbing, and anything comparable really to like life in the West really is out of financial reach for most Russians, and it's so bad to the point that you know, to compensate for the fact that their leaders over not just the last few decades but centuries, millennia even, from the warlords to this rise of Tsarist Russia to the USSR to the Russian Federation today, the people of Russia have been continuously taken advantage of and abused. And because there are generations of people with generations of hopelessness who have never known anything other than, you know, suffering, there is now this weird cult of like masculinity and pride around suffering, because they consider that suffering is like manly and macho and important and all that shit. And so Russia sucks because there is never been a the people of Russia have been kind of fucked for most of their time. The Rus people, and then the Russians that followed them. Yeah, it's pretty fucking mid. It sucks, and the Russian people deserve better. They deserve to have some level of self-actualization.